welcome back to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be talking about the Netflix series One Day. Yeah, you know it. You've seen it. You love it. You like it.
I always want to say One Fine Day. That's something
One
else,
fine
though, isn't
day.
it? Didn't they do a movie called One Fine
Yes.
Day? Yeah.
One fine day.
I always think it's missing a word. You know what I mean?
But it's one day.
One fine day, one, I don't know.
The Netflix series, it's an adaptation of the One Day book by David Nichols. And that was from 2009, that book was released. So you may have read it, you may know it is.
You may not have even been alive in 2009,
well,
for all we know.
Well, for all we know, let us know if you weren't alive in 2009. And you came back to life in 2010.
What? Came back?
Listen, I'm doing this podcast as if I'm William Conrad, okay?
I think we should
Your favourite TikToker.
Today, we should talk like William Conrad from TikTok.
Well, he's really...
Podcast.
He's trying to summon Book Talk, isn't he?
Oh, God.
Book Talk!
Yeah,
I summon thee!
Speaking of Book Talk...
Speaking of Book Talk, yeah, I mean, this is kind of like their thing, isn't it? Well, not really, is it? No.
Well, yes.
Dexter isn't the kind of guy that they like in Book Talk.
The thing is Book Talk is just literally people talking about books on TikTok.
But
giving reviews of any book.
Book Talk has been taken over by
romance
the feral
novels.
Women of romance novels.
And
that's what Mills and Boone, whatever.
They usually refer to it as Book Talk when they're talking specifically about like the women who like romance novels. But realistically, any and every book, I've seen reviews of just every kind of book, and they hashtag Book Talk. So I don't know how. Yeah. I don't know how it became like synonymous with like.
It's like, I really want to talk about this thought-provoking book that I just read, and then someone comes on and goes, "Oh, did you see that Mills and Boone, which was a popular publisher of romance novels in the UK? I don't know who it is. Danielle Steele. That was another one. Jackie Collins.
Barbara
Cartland. Dame Barbara Cartland.
I haven't read any of those books. 50 Shades of Grey. Who was that written by?
That was, I can't remember what her name is now, but...
It's that type of thing,
yeah. I mean, they love it. They go mental for it.
This story is not exactly that. It is a romance.
It's like a rom-com, but it's not. It's not like what they're
there's not so much calm.
There's not so much calm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's if you've read it,
we haven't read it.
And
so
we
never
and I think we saw that Anne Hathaway.
No, because I didn't even remember that movie existed.
No, because I was but maybe I saw like a trailer for it years ago. Because when I was watching, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of familiar." But no, there was a 2011 film adaptation with Jim Sturgis. Remember him? And
I know. He hasn't done anything lately, has he?
He's done things, but he's not as popular. Yeah, I mean, he's still acting. He's still out there plugging away.
No.
He hasn't gone to Book Talk just yet.
No, I don't. I cannot think of anything he's been in other than Across the Universe.
Across the Universe, he was in The Enemy Within.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a bit miscast in that.
They didn't even finish that, did they?
Yeah, they did.
They didn't do like a second series or anything.
It was a mini-series, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 6 episodes or 8 episodes.
I'm not sure it was intended to be a mini-series.
Yeah, maybe
I think they were just like, no. Because everybody was just like, this is not good.
It wasn't that great. He was...
The story was good, his acting was really bizarre.
His acting was bizarre. He seemed a little bit miscast because he was doing this weird voice. And he was kind of like his mannerisms. But anyway, we digress. I mean, he might have been doing this. He might have been bad as Dexter in One Day, 2011.
But we don't know because everybody mostly apparently was talking about Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway's Yorkshire accent. Anne Hathaway from up north.
Yeah.
Hey, up. It's Anne Hathaway.
I want to hear it, though. We really need to watch the movie.
We'll watch the movie one day. One day we will watch the movie.
Because the thing is British people think that they do such good American accents.
Oh, we do?
that Americans do such terrible British accents. You never ever hear anybody going, "Oh, her British accent. Oh, I never would have guessed she was American," you know. But yet, oh yes, his American accent is so good. You know,
sometimes it's terrible. Sometimes because some people go, "Oh, can you do an American accent?" And they instantly go for the like Southern Texas kind of like.
Let's hear your American accent.
No, you're hearing it right now. I'm talking an American accent right now. I mean, I sound very, very American.
The thing is that, like on British television.
Yeah.
And it's something about Americans. There's an American character. It's always terrible. I always know. I'm always like, let me look this person up because they are not American.
You're talking about the early Poirots.
Poirot or just anything where they always have like this. I guess it's supposed to be like just a generic sort of
L.A. type.
No, not L.A. Not that generic. Like a generic, like New England kind of accent. You know, like a Connecticut kind of
Yes, yeah.
They're always trying to talk like this, and it's just like, no, where in America do they talk like? I feel like I'm kind of sounding like
they're all trying to sound like Rachel McAdams, because Rachel McAdams gives me that. Oh, she could be British in a show from the 1980s, 1990s.
What, her look?
Her look and her like voice. You know, in About Time, you know, she's like, "Oh, that was very lovely. That was very lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, hello there. I'm from America.
So I would have
How do you do, sir?
So I would have
How
to
do you
hear,
do, ma'am?
So I would have to hear Anne Hathaway's Yorkshire accent to judge for myself. Like
Apparently it went all over the place.
I don't trust British people to say... Because
I don't trust British people to say how terrible is Anne
Yes,
Hathaway's.
Because they're going to say it's terrible no matter what, aren't they? Because they know she's
Dick Van Dyke is still
not.
lauded for his portrayal of a Cockney.
That was a really good accent. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, he did his best. He did his best, old Dick.
But yeah, you know, British people, it doesn't matter how good the accent is. They never want to say that it's good. They always want to go, oh no. I think that it was a bit silly because when did the movie come out?
2011.
By 2011, she was already Anne Hathaway, wasn't she? You know,
yeah, so she was well into her Anne Hathaway era.
So everybody already knew.
Yeah.
That she's not British, so it's just like you kind of go, why is Anne Hathaway doing this Yorkshire accent?
We need a wider appeal because this is a British book, and
we need a big Hollywood star.
We need a big Hollywood star to make people go and watch it.
Yeah, because Jim Sturgis
that doesn't really work anymore, especially not in TV.
You know, Jim Sturgis got a lot of attention for Across the Universe, which I was kind of surprised about.
A lot of people go, oh, it was pretty terrible.
I thought. Well, I mean, I didn't think it was so great. I liked it
was
the
Beatles. It was a musical based on the Beatles, and it was kind of terrible.
But
actually.
I thought, no, a lot of people like it. A lot of people really like it.
Well, because, you know, they like the whole thought of him, like, oh, he's this Liverpool guy, and he's falling in love with this American girl. And it's the dream, man. It's a dream.
But I always assume that people who like it are like me. They're just really hardcore Beatles fans, and they like anything associated with Beatles. No, it's some of them are people who are like music theater people. They really, really enjoy it. You know, I'm kind of surprised. Oh, they're not even such huge Beatles fans. You know,
it's just kind of like, oh, someone's gonna start singing "All My Loving," you know,
and it's just like, and they love Jim Sturgis and. But yeah, he's not exactly like a huge star, is he? You know, outside of that.
No. I'm actually struggling to think of anything other things.
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Like big movies. But I mean, you know, toss us your Jim Sturgis recommendations.
Let us know if you have read the book, the One Day book, or if you have seen the One Day film, and whether we should read the book or watch the film.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen this Netflix series.
Yeah.
Judging by everything that I've heard about the Netflix series, like, everybody's just raving about this series.
They're raving about it because it did a better job than the film of delving into, like, the nuance. There was I did read a couple of reviews, people going, oh, the film and the books, some characters were better suited, like Ian and Suki and Sylvie. They were better portrayed, but I didn't like how they were portrayed in the series. And I guess they changed their characters around too much.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say, I think I also saw somewhere that the Netflix series took a few liberties that. Yeah, maybe deviated from the books a bit.
Yeah, maybe it was to do with the characters, like Ian. Apparently, Ian.
I can't remember who Ian was.
He was the comedian that she was.
Oh yeah,
she was dating for a while. Mm-hmm. He apparently was a bit of a neat freak.
If you haven't,
but in the books,
if you haven't seen the Netflix series One Day, then this is probably going to spoil it for you. If you intend to watch it, come back to the podcast after you have watched it, obviously.
Ian was in the books. His character went better with Emma than he did in the series, and I guess that's what they were trying to play up. They're trying to, because it's a rom-com. It's like, we don't want another guy coming in and being all, oh no, this is actually better for her. We want her with the main guy that we've been watching from the start. Yeah. So I can understand why they did that. Mm-hmm. And Sylvie again, it's on that thing. It's like, oh, we don't want that woman who could potentially go better with our main lead star, Yeah. We want them both together. We want Dexter and Emma together. And we don't want anything like, happening. We just want to be frustrated that they're not together and going out with these other two people. And she's like, get together now! How dare you!
Where you were comparing Dexter to the leads in the book talk books. I think where he does compare is that he's damaged
damaged
man.
Goods. He's damaged goods, ladies.
No, he's damaged. He's a damaged person. He's he's a tortured soul. You know what I mean? And a lot of the male characters, I think, in the book talk books are that type of
damaged skulls. And what are the women? I can fix him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so
I am the one who will fix him.
I don't think she necessarily fits in with that, because she gets fed up with him in One Day quite often,
She gets fed up with him from the first 5 seconds. Yeah.
She's not so...
Oh, she's got a chip on her shoulder. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Yeah. There's so many chips in this movie that you could run a fish and chip shop.
So tell us what it's about, basically, for anybody who has not seen it yet.
It starts in 1988, and in Edinburgh University, and Dexter Mayhew, I think his name is.
I don't remember.
Dexter Mayhew is.
We watched the series right when it came out, you guys. So we've already forgot. I have that problem.
It follows. It basically follows Dexter and Emma. Mm-hmm. They meet in Edinburgh.
Yeah. And on the day of their graduation.
Yeah, on July 15th, which is St. Swithin's Day. And they hook up for the first time after graduating from college, university, as they would,
Yeah.
But they don't, and they just spend the whole night chatting about their fears and everything. And eventually, she wants to change the world. She's from Yorkshire. She wants to change the world. And he's quite... he comes from a rich family, and he's just, I just want a cool and glamorous life. He wants to be a TikTok influencer before TikTok was a thing.
Yeah.
I want to have a cool, glamorous life. And so this follows their 20 years of knowing each other. Relationship of just knowing each other, being friends, and it's a will they, won't they, it's pretty much won't they,
Yeah.
For a long time. And, they stay close, they go on a trip to Greece, and it basically every year is on the July 15th, we just see one day of the year that they,
Yeah.
Of the year.
Each episode is that same day the next year, year after year. So the first episode is what, 1988?
Yeah.
So the next episode is that same day, but 1989.
To me, episode 3, 1990, and then episode 4, 1991.
And it's just like, I guess the chapters in the book are like that, maybe?
Yes, I'm imagining so.
I think it's interesting, but at times I was getting a bit frustrated that they would...
I was getting annoyed.
Well, that they would reference things that had happened in between, and we didn't get to see those things happen.
Well, that's,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of like...
Life.
Life. And also, it's a good kind of storytelling point, because, you know, then you've got your own imagination of how it went down, rather than you seeing it, and them referencing later on, and then you going, oh, it wasn't really like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I can see, like, the book probably expanded on it more. The film, apparently, of course, being a film, had to flick through a couple of years, you know, just like quick, and then, you know, to get to the end.
I really like that series have become so popular, because you do have more time to explore characters and the story in a series than you do in a film, don't you?
Yes.
So in my opinion, I mean, I understand some people, they don't want to spend that amount of time. Like 2 hours is good for them. They just want to, they just like wrap it all up in a film. I can watch it beginning to end and never have to think about it the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm someone who I'm like, no, give me more. Like, tell me more.
Tell me more. I need to know more.
Yeah, I want to know everything about this person and what's going on. And I think that was part of my problem. I'm so, like, what would you say, like, completist?
Completionist.
So, I want the whole thing so much so that, you know, the next episode, they'll be like, oh, well, remember last year when you came over and we slept together or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
they went, and they went to...
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, that's it.
We didn't get to see that.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. Yeah. They slept together at one point.
Yeah.
And it wasn't showing on screen. It was, we slept together. It was like, oh... And you're just like, what? We didn't even get to see that.
Because the thing is, it was such a build-up.
Book talk, I summon thee.
It was such a build-up the whole time. You know, they're building the sexual tension for episodes and episodes. And then you're getting toward the end and you're just like, okay, when are they going to finally get together? And then they're like, we slept together once and you can't. And I'm just like, what?
It was after he broke up with Sylvie, or he found out that Sylvie was having an affair on him.
Yeah.
With his best friend from college?
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway,
his best friend from college.
And they had a child together and all this. And then that was like the cliffhanger of like 1990. I don't know when it was. Yeah. It was like 2000. I'm just looking at like a little thing here. But before all that, bringing you back, Dexter basically achieves some modicum of fame presenting a late night show.
Yeah.
So he becomes. Well,
he starts off on like this MTV kind of like MTV VJ type situation.
Yeah, and he becomes like, oh, everyone's like, oh, Dexter Mayhew, great.
Like music videos or like hosting like a music kind of dance party kind of thing, and obviously he's very good looking, so everybody's into him, and he becomes this big star. And but I think he's got a drink problem. He gets an alcohol problem and a substance problem, and it's like Emma can't relate because she's just a teacher who's in a relationship with this comedian guy. Yeah. But she's still friends with him. She's still like, oh yeah, you know, because he calls her and he's like, Emma, yeah, come over, yeah, let's hang out. And she's like, okay, can't right now because I've got this thing. And because I'm doing real life.
I'm doing real life and you're doing your fantasy life.
Yeah.
But yes, Ian eventually splits up with her because he's like, oh yeah, it's always been Dexter with you. She's like, no, we're just friends. So she begins this freaking affair, this torrid, like, I think seedy affair with the headmaster of her school.
Yeah, I think she begins that while she's still with Ian.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's why they break up.
And Ian thinks it's Dexter.
Yeah.
But it's like, Dexter's nowhere to be found.
She's like, actually, I am cheating on you, but not with Dexter.
It's with the headmaster, and he was just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, can't even have an affair with a headmaster and be believed. But yes, then it's kind of like a will they won't they, because they reconnect at a friend's wedding.
Yeah.
Because they fell out for like a year.
Yeah,
like
they don't speak to each other for a whole year.
He invited her to the top restaurant in London, and it was very pretentious, very kind of like 90s, where he was all and he wasn't even really paying attention to her. He was just all in.
And he's
in
doing
his
drugs
head,
in the bathroom every
doing
5
drugs.
seconds.
He's like, or it could be dysentery. She said,
yeah, that's what she said. Yeah,
so either dysentery or
yeah.
Ambika Maud is Emma and Leo Wood is Dexter in this, by the way. Those are the actors playing this. And they think they had a good lot of chemistry, you know.
Yeah, I think they were really good together. Yeah. I was so excited to see, what's her name from Poldark?
Eleanor Tomlinson out here.
She plays Dexter's girlfriend that he gets and manages to keep for a little while.
Yeah,
and then
she's rich.
They end up getting pregnant, so they decide to get married, and then all of a sudden Emma kind of realizes, oh, I guess it's never going to happen then, because obviously, in the back of her mind, and in the back of his mind too, they were always thinking like,
they were pining for each other. At some point, we're going to end up together.
We'll end up together, you know. Yeah. And so she was just kind of like, oh, okay, you're getting married then, so the end, you know.
Child, the end.
Yeah. And
so they kind of patch it all up and, you know, and just become friends.
Yeah.
And then she has like, she writes a book about him.
Oh, yeah.
She gets on the book talk train. And writes a book and everyone loves it. And she becomes this kind of like... And because his career is gone, you know, because he can't keep it together.
Yeah.
His mother died of cancer.
Yeah.
And so that messed him up. And so his career on TV was, you know, ended. And he was like working in a restaurant. It was kind of like she was working in a restaurant while he was all woohoo, you know, glamorous, cool life.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like now the
tables have turned.
The tables have turned.
Yeah.
And she's kind of gaining a modicum of success, and they eventually end up getting together in Paris.
Yeah.
Finally.
I think Dominic mentioned before that Eleanor Tomlinson's character, who becomes his wife, ends up having an affair with Dexter's best friend from college, his like longest friend, who is also the one who had given him a job. And so they split up, and that's apparently when he and Emma finally sleep together off camera.
Yeah.
And then she moves to Paris.
She gets herself a French boyfriend. He turns up and he's finally all like, oh, it's always been you.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, this is awkward because I've got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then they go out. And he's like, oh, I'll just stay here then. Yeah, it's all right.
I'm just going to take a shower and go to bed. I'm having like, you know, I'm tired.
Yeah.
From traveling. And then she comes back instantly and they're like...
Oh, I split up with him. Let's go. Good to go.
I dropped
good to go.
him. Yeah.
And then, so, you know, for the final couple of episodes, it was, oh, everything's nice. Every couple of years, you know, it's, oh, it's lovely, lovely, lovely.
It's great. And then they're trying to have
and
a
I was
baby.
I hadn't read the book, or, you know, seen any spoilers at this point, but I was like, oh, this is not going to end well, is it?
Well, it's kind of like, how is it going to end? Because they're together now.
How it was going to end. I thought it was going to be him, though.
I didn't. So it was very annoying because I just thought, you know, the whole time watching it, oh, they're going to
buy a house together.
It's going to end when they finally get together after all of that. All of that was the build up of them to be together. But this was written by a British person, so there could never be a
happy ending
ever after.
Does not exist. You wanted that happy ending? Get yourself to Book Talk. It was written by a British person.
Yeah.
So
they're trying to have a kid and they can't, which I think, oh, that's sad. They can't have a kid. But she gets along really well with his child, with Demelza. So
Sylvia name is in there.
Yeah, so you think, okay, it's all right. You know, they can't have a kid. They're gonna get a house together then. Well, they start having a little bit of problems because they're frustrated because she's not getting pregnant. they start fighting a little bit again. And at first I did think, oh God, not this again, you know, Jesus.
Yes, I mean, they kind of, like, started not getting along, but he was like, oh no, you know, we're going to buy this house together, I'm going to meet you over there, you know, we're going to look at this house together, maybe put an offer on it, you know.
Yeah.
And she's biking in London.
Yes.
Biking in London, people. It's going to happen. And I was just like, oh no. Crash. Crash, bang, wallop, what a video.
Yes.
And it was just like, oh, maybe she's okay. No, she's dead.
Yes.
She is dead.
No. Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay, the aftermath of that, he goes back to being his old self. His dad and his ex-wife and everyone kind of rally around him, her friends too.
Yeah, because it's a little bit, like, you're a little bit worried, is he gonna, you know, do self-harm because he's so distraught without her. Because he's really, this entire series, through the entire thing, he's really relying on her the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, he's having this party lifestyle, he's doing everything, you know, everything that most everybody would want, you know, fame and fortune and the glamorous life. But he was only happy when he was, like, talking to her, usually, you know. So it's just kind of like, now she's gone. And you just think, oh my God, how's he going
to do this? Yeah.
He's never going to survive without her. Like, you know, and everybody, all his friends and family were like that too. Yeah. Like, oh my God.
But they rallied round and he had this kind of, like, he started dating the manager of his cafe, didn't he?
Oh, I don't think he dated anyone.
Maybe that was only in the book or something.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, they didn't show him get with anyone. He just kind of, like, he comes at peace with it, and he decides to, like, take some time by himself every year on that day.
Yeah.
That day, the day that they met, ended up also being the day that she died.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
July 15th.
What the whole reason for that was. Yeah.
Whatever it was, yeah.
And so we are left to sort of believe that, like, he's just going to carry that on every day on that.
He goes to Edinburgh and he climbs up Arthur's seat.
Yeah, he took his daughter and he goes and he's, like, showing her around.
It's a nostalgic trip, yeah.
Yeah. And
then it flashes back into, you know, it's that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. But, yeah, so basically, I hated it.
Yes, you hated it. You got out of bed and you stormed off.
I was just like, I mean, I've talked about before on here that when we binge something, I have this problem where it, like, instantly leaves my memory. So I often want to do, like, the little kid thing. Like, when you're little and you play the same movie over and over, like, as soon as it ends, you start it again. Yeah. You know, that's what you want to do. I do that. I always want to do that.
Yeah.
And so I sometimes do it. But so this one, I was like, it was quite good all through the middle and everything, and I was just like, oh, as soon as this ends, I'm gonna start it again, you know. But then it ended that way, and I was like, I will never watch this ever again.
It's the sad ending.
It's horrendous.
Very sad.
It's horrendous. And had I known that it was going to end like that, I'm not 100% sure that I would have watched it. Because I hate that kind of thing.
You just want it all to be hallmark, don't you?
Yes.
Everyone's just like,
I'm American. I love a happy ending, okay?
It's got to be a love of a happy ending.
I want everyone to win. I want everyone to be happy. I want everything to be great.
Everybody ends going, yay, as the camera pulls out.
You know, and I vaguely did then, when we saw the scene where she dies, or where she gets hit by the car, I vaguely remember the previews of Anne Hathaway laying in the street like that in the preview for the film. Yeah.
Anne Hathaway, what have you done?
So yeah, I should have known, but I didn't know.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know. Yeah. So let us know if you watched this series.
Yes.
Everybody's praising it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're not going to
And
do
everybody's
like a
like, oh, the
second
soundtrack.
series.
Well, no, the soundtrack. No, they're not. That's it. It was a mini-series.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was good, too. It was very 90s.
Yeah, I guess so.
Guess so.
I mean, it was all British, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was the music, though. That is the music.
I don't know what it was. The actor, though, who plays Dexter, I had just seen
Is it
in
Dexter
the White Lotus.
Mayhew?
Oh, I don't know.
I've been saying Dexter Mayhew this entire episode.
It kind of sounds right.
Dexter Woodall sounds better now.
Someone let us know.
Someone let us know.
But I had just binged The White Lotus, so I was already kind of familiar with him, and he's a very good looking guy, so I can imagine that we're going to see him in things from now on.
Oh yeah, no, this is
I think he's a new
Ambika Mod.
heartthrob, you know.
I can see Ambika Mod in somewhere, but we'd seen her before in This Is Going to Hurt.
Oh yeah,
which she had another sad end.
Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully she gets roles where she gets to live.
And the hilarious thing about her is she's a comedian, apparently.
She's a comedian, yeah. She's
like,
a stand-up comedian, so that's funny.
She's
I
only...
keep getting casted. I'm only casting roles where I die. I'm like Sean Bean now. I'm going to be the new Sean Bean.
Yes.
You know, because she's not actually from Yorkshire either, though.
No, yeah, but her Yorkshire accent was good.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
Oh, you're authorized to speak on that now, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Anne Hathaway. Yeah, we'll have to watch it just for Anne Hathaway's accent.
Yeah, I have to see it now, I think. I think didn't we look for it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's on something that we're
It'll
not
be on
paying
something.
for right now, but
Yeah.
we'll get it for a month just so we can see it.
Yeah, I just cancelled Max, actually, just to let you know.
Oh.
A little bit of admin here. Just to let
you all know, we no longer have HBO
I just
Max.
cancelled HBO Max because the thing was running out, so yeah. The promotion was off. So.
FYI.
So that's probably where it's on, and we'll have to resubscribe.
Oh my gosh. We are currently watching Masters of the Air.
Masters of the Air, yes. It's another
on Apple TV Plus.
Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg collaboration, kind of like Band of Brothers, but about the Air Force during the war.
It's really good.
The 100th bombing group.
There's no binging for us because every episode
comes out.
They only put out one episode per week.
Yeah,
which I kind of like because it sticks in my memory a bit better.
Yeah. It's a good series. Elvis is in it.
Yeah.
I've forgotten his name now.
No, basically the entire cast.
Austin Butler, that's it.
The entire cast is pretty much British except for him. For the most
there you
part.
go, and they're all doing. Yeah, even that Barry Keoghan from Saltburn was in it.
Oh,
he wasn't naked though. He was doing a New York accent.
No nude scenes.
Was he in New York? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
He was kind of Yeah,
I can't remember what his character's name is, but yeah, it's been really good too. So, if you are watching that, let us know. Also, let us know just what you're watching in general, because we're always looking for something new to watch. Other than that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Be sure to give us a follow on social media if you do not already. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the places. And special shout out to our patrons as always. We really thank you for your continued support. And we'll talk to you all next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.